You are listening to the Vibrant Life Podcast, episode 58.
The Vibrant Life.
Hey you, happy Friday. I'm Emily Romrell and this is the Vibrant Life Podcast. Thank you for being here with me today. I want you to know that I do feel a sincere connection to you as I work on these podcast episodes, and I often think about what you might be doing or going through. Life is an adventure for all of us, and as I think about my personal journey, I'm filled to the brim with gratitude for the lessons that I'm learning and the knowledge that we can all learn and grow together. So, thank you. The topics on this podcast are born directly from my own experiences, and it's a real blessing for me to ponder on what to share each week with you guys. It keeps me going and looking on the bright side of things, and I hope it does the same for you. Today we're talking about something that is difficult for me at times, but I think embracing this lesson is critical to living your best life. So this episode is on the power in asking. And I'm excited to share my thoughts on why it is important to ask for the things that we need and want, and to maybe break down some limiting beliefs. Because we're all in the adventure together and we need each other, right? One of my early memories is with my brother Shane. He's only about 15 months younger than me. We're pretty close in age. And I must have been around 5 or 6, and Shane came running towards me with a couple of dollar bills in his hand, and he had a real millionaire-ish feeling. And he told me, "Hey, if you ask Dad, he gives you money." And after that, I think things really changed for my dad. But honestly, I'm so grateful to him and to my mom. They've always given their kids everything, and they've been so great as parents. But before that point, I don't think I'd ever even thought about asking for money or other things like that. And when I think back on that memory, I wonder what else I might have missed simply because I didn't ask. And are there experiences that I've lost out on because I was too dense to see them, or maybe because I was too insecure to reach out? And I'm sure the answer to that is yes. I think we all have missed opportunities, and that's okay. I know I've missed opportunities to connect with people, and I haven't thought too much about the material side of life. I think we all do to some degree, honestly, but I'm sure there are things that I might have had if I just simply asked for them. And obviously there's a balance to everything, right? So there's a point where you can't ask for too much or take advantage of people, and so we need to be conscious of that. And we need to know where other people are coming from. It's important to give just as much as we take, and the thought of being greedy has always bothered me, so maybe that's why I kind of struggle with this. But that's where those limiting beliefs come in, right? It's not necessarily wrong or bad to ask for the things that you want and need. It's actually really important to ask for the things that you need. So I'm the oldest of 6 kids, and I grew up in an average middle-class American family, and my parents are amazing. As I said, I had a really great childhood. We always had what we needed, but there was a lot of work involved in making ends meet with 6 kids, and both financially and time-wise, we were taught from a young age that you need to work hard. We all had chores that we did, and I'm the oldest, so a big part of my identity became wrapped up in making sure that my younger brothers and sisters, and even my parents to an extent, were taken care of. And I still feel that way, even though we're all grown up now. And I think anyone who's the oldest child can relate to that. So while I did ask for things sometimes, I learned to be pretty judicious in what I asked for. And this actually benefited me a lot. I learned it's important to do your part in a family, and you should always be as independent as possible. But at the same time, somewhere along the way, I also learned to hold back on my needs and wants a little bit. And that's not anyone's fault. I think we all have different things that creep in. But I do think a lot of us end up feeling and acting that way, or feeling this way, that we need to kind of hold back. We're taught that other people come first, and we neglect our self-love and our own self-care. So today I want to offer a new way of thinking. I believe that when we take care of ourselves first, we are actually able to serve others better. And we have more to give because we're happier and healthier, and our figurative cup to pour from is full. Also, it's been proven that asking for things improves your relationships with others. So, that's pretty cool. In psychology, there's actually this thing called the Benjamin Franklin effect, and it's named after our founding father because he noticed the benefits of asking for small favors from people you might not like or who don't like you. In his autobiography, Franklin reveals an experience with a rival in the legislature. So these are his words. He said, having heard that he, his rival, had in his library a certain very scarce and curious book, I wrote a note to him expressing my desire of perusing that book and requesting he would do me the favor of lending it to me for a few days. He sent it immediately, and I returned it in about a week with another note expressing strongly my sense of the favor. When we next met in the house, he spoke to me, which he had never done before, and with great civility, and he ever after manifested a readiness to serve me on all occasions, so that we became great friends, and our friendship continued to his death. And there's a lot of reasons why this works, but the two main supporting ideas are reciprocity and cognitive dissonance in psychology. So first, as humans, we're social beings, and we have this built-in need to return favors and pay back debts. So it's kind of a sort of unspoken rule that goes both ways. If I do you a favor, I subconsciously know that you're more likely to help me in the future. And that makes me more amicable towards you. And then the second concept is cognitive dissonance. And that is an idea that says people change their attitudes or behavior to resolve tensions or conflicting thoughts or attitudes. So if I don't like you and I do you a favor, those two things disagree with each other. So I'm more likely to change my mind and be friendly towards you after doing something nice. So there's a little bit of science there. It's kind of interesting to me to learn about those things. And, so psychologists definitely have looked into the power in asking for things. But I think another big factor is our willingness to show vulnerability. And when we're willing to give others a genuine look into our hearts and minds, they're going to connect with us in ways that aren't possible otherwise. There's a great quote from Madeleine L'Engle, the author of A Wrinkle in Time. She said, when we were children, we used to think that when we were grown up, we would no longer be vulnerable. But to grow up is to accept vulnerability. To be alive is to be vulnerable. That's pretty powerful, right? To be alive is to be vulnerable. And I think when we truly embrace that, we come to understand how much we all need each other, and that there's a great pleasure to be found in helping others, but also there's absolutely no shame in asking for help when you need it. Actually, I think when we're emotionally healthy enough to ask for the things that we want and need, it prevents us from seeking to fulfill our needs in other unhealthy ways. I can't remember exactly where, but I heard once that all addiction is born out of a lack of connection. And addictions of every kind isolate you, whereas reaching out and asking for help will connect you to others. And I've thought about that quite a bit since I heard that, and it's something to think about for sure. One of the coolest things about life that I've discovered is that asking for those things that you want and need doesn't stop you from giving at the same time. It's awesome. Because we're all in different places and spaces in our lives, right? So where I'm weak, you are strong, and vice versa. And you might need help physically getting something done, and I might need a listening ear and someone to support me emotionally. And together we help each other move forward in life. And I really think that's a big purpose of life, is that we can, all of us, help each other in different ways and grow and just become our best selves. We all have so much to offer this world. Sometimes I look around at the people I know, and I am blown away by their gifts and talents. But if you were to ask them what they have to offer, they might struggle a little bit defining that, and I know I do. We've been taught from the time we're small that we shouldn't show off or brag about ourselves. But here's the truth, my friends. There is a big difference between vanity and knowing your true self-worth. And I believe this is the cause of so many problems in society today. It makes me think of Aunt Eller in the musical Oklahoma. I love musicals. I watch them all the time growing up with my mom. And in Oklahoma, the farmers and the cowboys are always kind of on opposite sides and fighting and trying to one up each other. And then there's wise old Aunt Eller who stands up and says, I won't say I'm no better than anybody else, but I'll be danged if I ain't just as good. And so you don't need to diminish yourself to remain humble, right? And loving yourself does not mean that you feel superior to others. So that's important to recognize. You're not better than anyone, but you're not less than anyone. And it's hard. It can be hard to come to terms with that, but we can do it. I think we can all get a little closer. So, the challenge this week is double-sided. First of all, I hope you feel more inclined to reach out when you need something or even want something. Remember to have balance and moderation. There are limits, so be mindful. But maybe take a look at how you might enrich some of your relationships by asking for help. And then on the other side, take a good look and find ways to help others around you. Because it is another golden truth that when you lighten the way for others, your own path is lit. And any efforts you make towards these goals with helping others or asking for help, they're going to truly help you have a better life and a happier, vibrant life. So I hope we can all try a little harder towards those goals, and I hope you all have a great week, my friends. Take care.